Hello and welcome. This is the Greenbrier Valley Church of the Nazarene with your daily devotion for today, Thursday, October the 27th. Today we read from the book of Esther, chapter 4, verses 6 through 14. Here's the word of the Lord. So Hathach went out to Mordecai in the open square of the city in front of the king's gate. Mordecai told him everything that had happened to him, including the exact amount of money Haman had promised to pay into the royal treasure for the destruction of the Jews. He also gave him a copy of the text of the edict for their annihilation, which had been published in Susa, to show to Esther and explain it to her. And he told him to instruct her to go into the king's presence to beg for mercy and plead with him for her people. Hathach went back and reported to Esther what Mordecai had said. Then she instructed him to say to Mordecai, all the king's officials and the people of the royal province know that for any man or woman who approaches the king in the inner court without being summoned to the king has but one law, and that they be put to death unless the king extends the gold scepter to them and spares their lives. But 30 days have passed since I was called to go to the king. When Esther's words were reported to Mordecai, he sent back this answer. Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. But you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come into your royal position for such a time as this. Then Esther sent this reply to Mordecai. Go, gather together all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went away and carried out all of Esther's instructions. And that is the word of the Lord. The article today is titled Stepping Out by Deanna Hayden. Esther's life began tragically with her parents dying. She was part of an exiled people. Eventually, she was taken from her loving adopted father, her cousin, to join the king's harem. While Esther had experienced hardship, she was now in a comfortable place of security. It is from this comfort and security that Mordecai now calls her to act. Let's not forget, this was not a gentle request. He didn't mince words in telling her the truth. She wouldn't be spared just because she lived in the palace. She could risk perishing now if she went to the king and he didn't extend his scepter, or she could perish with her people later. This threat to her security was enough to compel her to risk going to the king. This is not to dismiss Esther's courage, but to give us perspective about our own tendency towards self-preservation. We usually make choices we hope will result in our well-being and security. Sometimes, however, God asks us to step outside that bubble of safety. What ways are we tempted to stay in safety and comfort? How might God be asking us to step out of that in a courageous act of trust in God? Blessed Be the Tie That Binds by John Fawcett is the hymn. Blessed be the tie that binds our heart in Christian love. The fellowship of kindred minds is like that above. And from Romans chapter 15, verse 13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. And this is your daily devotion for Thursday, October the 27th. Have a blessed day.